What's going on, family? This is PNP. This is your boy Dave, and I'm here to talk to you about whether or not Christian McCaffrey should be the top running back taken in fantasy football. But before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And just remember, we're sponsored by Manscaped, so you can get 20% off and free shipping on your order using the code PNP at manscaped.com. And make sure you guys join the Patreon. And the Patreon's at patreon.com/PantherNationPC. All that stuff is going to be in the description below. Now, with that in mind, let's get started talking about Christian McCaffrey. So here's the thing, man. I think a lot of folks are saying, well, Christian McCaffrey, you know, he got hurt last year. He shouldn't be the top running back taken. Somebody like a Derrick Henry should be. Somebody like a Dalvin Cook should be. And I can understand that sentiment to a point. But as of this week, I still have Christian McCaffrey as the top running back that should be taken. Number one overall, if you got the number one overall pick. And part of the reason why is because I think he's going to get the work. I think there's a level of concern about Chuba Hubbard getting drafted in the 4th round. But until I see them having the ability to reduce Christian's load, I need to see it. And history has shown that they have not been able to do so. Even when he returns from injury, they were still giving the bulk of the work. My partner Rashad did a very good video proving why he doesn't think that part of the reason why he thinks that Chuba Hubbard might not be worth the pick if you're not willing to give him at least 7 carries a game. But even if you do give Chuba 7 carries a game, at worst, he's top 5. So because he's going to get all the work in the passing game and he's going to get all the work in the running game, McCaffrey is easily going to be the top overall pick. I mean, you don't pay a running back $16 million and not be willing to give him the bulk of the work. Now, you can debate whether or not you should take him number 1 overall, but I think if I had the number 1 overall pick, I would be taking him. I mean, even last year, the 3 games that he played in, he averaged 24.5 points, fantasy points a game. To put that in perspective, that's higher than any other running back in fantasy last year. So when he played, he put in the work and he was the top guy. So from that standpoint, I think he's the top overall pick. Injuries are a thing in the NFL. Like, you can't really avoid injuries. Should you be concerned about the 17 games? Absolutely. But you're going to have that level of concern with any running back you take. Like, I know Derrick Henry has been durable, but so was Christian McCaffrey before last year, and we never was screaming about the fact that he had injury problems. So I think we need to simmer that down a little bit, stay focused on the task at hand. If you have the opportunity to take Christian McCaffrey as the top running back in fantasy, you should absolutely do that. I don't think I'm going to change my stance until we get a definitive, hey, it looks like he's legitimately going to be splitting the work. And the work's got to be more like, the work has to fall below 75%, 25% for me to be convinced that he's not the top running back in fantasy. I think for them to get it down to 75% would be, for a Christian standpoint as an NFL player, would be awesome for him. But the reality of it, I don't see it. Like, I just don't see them getting down to 75%. I think at worst, it'll be 80%. And even then, he's still the top running back in fantasy at 80%. Because even with the last game he played against the Chiefs, he got 82% of the work. And he still ended up getting, you know, he was still a top 3 guy that day in fantasy. So I think we need to simmer down a bit and relax. And the fact that I think that the Panthers are going to want to run the ball more than what they did last year tells me that he's going to have the opportunity to still get his 20 to 25 touches a game, even if Chuba gets his 7. So I think it's a win-win across the board from that standpoint. So that's my take on whether or not you should take Christian McCaffrey number 1 overall. I think you should. I think he's the top fantasy player. I think he's the top fantasy player, and that's the one you should take, especially in a PPR league. But with that in mind, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at PantherNationPC. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at ChampD1012. If you have any other players you want me to spotlight, just let me know. And always remember, keep pounding. Talk to you guys soon.